What's going on, everyone? So, LeBron in this upcoming season is going to be very interesting, right? Because I do fully believe LeBron could still go be a 38-8 guy. He was that last season before he got hurt with his foot injury when he was trying to chase the scoring title. But personally, I don't think he's going to try to do that. I think he kind of just coasts throughout this upcoming season. He's still going to get his, 28 and 8 or whatever, just because it's LeBron James. And we'll see, kind of like what we saw towards the back half of last year, where, at halftime, LeBron has like 4 points, and then the game's over, and you're like, LeBron had 25? Like, he scored 21 in the second half? Like, when did that happen? And it's just because, like, LeBron will just score in bursts in little spots. But regardless, even if he is willing to take a step back, he's still LeBron James. And something I've talked about in the past is just the gravity that LeBron attracts. And how by attracting that gravity, it makes guys like Anthony Davis feel like, okay, I can't fully step up and be the guy. Hopefully that perspective and mindset changes this year. But also the other guys, right? We've seen, even when Reeves is killing it, or D'Lo, or whomever, like when the ball's in LeBron's hands, everything just kind of stops. And everyone just kind of gets fixated on LeBron and like, what is he going to do? And is he just going to shoot a three, or is he going to drive to the hoop and all that stuff? And what that does is it kind of at times can disrupt the flow of the offense, and especially some of the other key guys. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. I mean, that's how it is for most stars, right? Even Kobe, right? Most of the time he'd get the ball and everyone would just kind of Kobe watch. Like, that was a big thing. You have guys like Luka, high usage rate, right? When Luka has the ball, everyone's just kind of standing around waiting to see what happens. Giannis has the ball, everyone. It's part of like the star, the gravity of being the guy on the team. And with that, it kind of, again, hinders the rest of the roster, especially the young guys, right? We have a very young, talented, promising roster, right? And you look at guys like Austin Reeves even. And we saw LeBron willing to defer and kind of let Reeves be Reeves down the stretch. And I do think that LeBron will allow that to happen again, just because Austin Reeves is a guy that LeBron really sort of values, right? He likes his IQ. He likes his decision making, right? Like, there's very few people that LeBron's been willing to just, all right, here you go to work. And Reeves has seemed, at least, to be the guy. Granted, it's a smaller sample size compared to like, hey, will he do that this whole season? So that'll be interesting to see. But even then, like, how much can Reeves really do and blossom when he's the third guy? I think on any given night, he could kind of be the second guy, right? Especially if LeBron's coasting, right? I could see Reeves, AD kind of being the guy, and then Reeves kind of being the guard that kind of takes over, and he gets his 20 to 25 or something like that. Or LeBron has the night off, or AD has the night off, and Reeves is kind of the guy that steps into it. So I do think Reeves may get a little more shine than others. But still, like, we're never going to be able to fully see what Reeves is capable of doing until LeBron retires, right? And look, I want to preface this by saying, like, I don't want LeBron to retire. As long as LeBron can be the LeBron we have seen in the past few years, even last year, keep LeBron, right? I mean, he's still a great player. Even last year, he was still a top 10 player in the league, right? As long as he can maintain that, keep him. He wants to play another 5 years for the Lakers and can be that guy. Fine, go ahead. So I don't want people to interpret this as like, oh, like you must want LeBron to retire. No, absolutely not. I want LeBron on the Lakers as long as he can be good enough to help the Lakers win a championship. But that being said, we're never going to really get to see how good our young guys are until this LeBron era is over, right? Like, we get to see flashes of Reeves when LeBron is out. But we're not going to get to really truly know what levels can he go, because he's always in the end going to have to defer to LeBron, right? And for example, Austin Reeves didn't become this version of Austin Reeves until LeBron got hurt, When LeBron got hurt, the Lakers needed somebody to step up, and Austin Reeves became Austin Reeves. So, again, great example. But even guys like Rui Hachimura, I truly believe Rui Hachimura is the LeBron James replacement. But how good is Rui going to be when he's going to more likely than not be the backup as long as LeBron is on the Lakers? Which means he's not going to get the opportunity. He's not going to get the play calls. He's not going to get the shot attempts. He might a night here and there, something like that, but he's not going to get the, hey, you're our second scoring option behind an Austin Reeves or whatever, right? And even if he starts at the 3, right? Like, let's say the Lakers do start him. He's still not going to get the shot at. Like we saw, he is our best mid-range guy, I think. I mean, there's an argument between like him and AD when AD's on, right? He's really good in that mid-range. D'Lo's got a pretty nice mid-range shot, so does Reeves. But Rui's automatic. Yet we saw last year, and maybe some of it was he was a new addition, but even when he was hot and on, the Lakers didn't really go to him. It was still like, get the ball to LeBron or get the ball to AD, right? And it's like, you got a guy in Rui, especially like when the offense is stagnant, nothing's really working, and the basket shrunk, and you're just like, how do you get a bucket? And it's like, well, you got a guy in Rui Hachimura who's a mismatch for pretty much every 4 in the league. Why wouldn't you just give him the ball and let him go to work? He's not going to get that opportunity. We've seen him far too often kind of just get relegated to a spot-up three-point shooter. And that's not his game, right? But as long as LeBron is there, he's never going to be one of the focal points on the offensive end. And I'm not even saying when LeBron leaves that Rui's going to be the number one option or anything like that. But Rui's what? The 4th or 5th option right now? Where if LeBron leaves and he steps up into that starting role, he's probably the 3rd option, right? Because you got, chances are, D'Lo, he's only going to be on the Lakers roster for so long, right? They kind of want to move Austin Reeves to the point guard so Max Christie can come in. And if Reeves kind of becomes a point guard, then he's going to be looking to facilitate more, and he's going to be looking to get guys going. So now, all of a sudden, Rui goes from like the 6th, 7th man off the bench to like the starting power forward, and he goes from like 7 attempts per game to like 15, and he's a 20-point-a-game scorer when he gets 15 attempts per game, right? Like, that's the difference. So a lot of these young guys are not going to get the opportunity and the shine. Even Max Christie, right? Let's say Max Christie is able to replicate what Austin Reeves did, and he becomes so good that the Lakers end up benching D'Lo, or they end up trading D'Lo because it's like, man, we got Austin at the point, Christie at the 2, Christie two-way player, guy's he's been a stud. We got to start him, right? Like, let's say it's Austin Reeves 2.0, and he just becomes undeniable. He's still going to be limited, right? He could be right now a 30-point-a-game guy for all we know. Austin Reeves could be a 30-point-a-game guy. Rui Hachimura could be a 30-point-a-game guy, right? We have several guys that you can make an argument for. I mean, even D'Lo, when he was the guy, was like, a 23 to 25-point-a-game guy, right? And he's much more efficient and a better shooter and scorer than he was back in those Brooklyn days. So he could probably be a 25 to 30-point-a-game guy. None of those guys will ever be that as long as LeBron James is on the roster, because he's always going to have to get his points, right? He has streaks that he needs to keep and maintain. So he's going to take shot attempts rather than, he's going to need to get that. If the game's on the line, and he's at 8 points and it's, we're down 1, does he just try to start doing too much because he wants to keep his double-digit streak alive? Or does he play within the team because that's what's been working and can help us win the game? Right? I mean, there's real question marks about that. And LeBron down the stretch, stuff like that. We saw him just shoot us out of games countless times. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis hasn't really blossomed into that number one guy for the Lakers. And again, it's the gravity that LeBron attracts, right? Like, LeBron is arguably, if not the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. So there's a certain gravitas to him, right? Everyone looks at it and goes, man, like, the ball is best in his hands, right? He's a system in and of himself. You know, he doesn't play to a system. He is the system. And he's always been that. And so, one, it's hard for him to kind of defer. And two, it's hard for everyone else to not defer to him and allow him to be guys down the stretch. Because he's LeBron James and he's built that reputation and he's built that just history. And even Anthony Davis, like, when LeBron leaves, whether it's he goes plays with the Sun, whether he retires, whatever, do we see a different Anthony Davis? He's been ridiculously dominant on the defensive end, but offensively, he has been very inconsistent. But how much of that is like the offense doesn't flow through him, right? Like, how many times have we all been screaming at the TV to get AD the ball? Find the ball to AD. Why is AD not playing AD's got 30, like, through 3 quarters. Get AD the ball. What are we doing? Right? And it's like, oh, he had 2 shot attempts in the fourth quarter. It's like, okay, yeah, he has to do a better job of demanding the ball, but get him the ball. LeBron took 15 shots, and 8 of them were contested fadeaway threes. It's like, what are we doing here? Get the ball to AD. But it's because AD isn't the guy. Everyone says they want him to be. LeBron says he wants him to be. The coaching staff and everyone says they want him to be. But how can you be when the ball has to go through LeBron? Right? When LeBron has to touch the ball. Even in the playoffs, even when he was, deferring, he still touched the ball. Right? Like, the commentators, it's either the Memphis series or the Warriors series. But even the commentators were like, oh, when have you ever seen LeBron just give the ball up so quickly? Right? And actually play within the offense. But again, he got the ball. Like, why wasn't he just standing around relegated to being a spot up 3-point shooter like Rui and Reeves and D'Lo and Vando and AD and every other player on the roster when Reeves has the ball or D'Lo has the ball or whatever? No. If he wants the ball, he gets the ball. Nobody's looking him off because the better play is to kick it out to the corner or to try to get to the basket and draw the contact. No, LeBron wants the ball, you get the ball to LeBron. And so we're never going to really get to see how good these young guys are as long as LeBron's on it. But again, I want to reiterate, I'm not saying that the Lakers need to trade LeBron or they need to unload LeBron. This isn't like a bashing LeBron video. He's still a top 10 player. He's still absolutely incredible. He's still, a guy that can help the Lakers win an NBA championship. As long as LeBron can be that guy, I want him on the Lakers. Undoubtedly want him on the Lakers. But I think this is something that's worth a conversation because it's something that, I've talked about with many of you in the comments and stuff like that and, kind of touched on in videos and stuff briefly. And I just thought this would be a good video to kind of just talk about that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree? Disagree? Somewhere in between? However you feel. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.